Today we're going to have news on the Jake Paul altercation with Floyd Mayweather outside a Miami Heat home game. And we'll also talk about Henry Cejudo and what he believes that the Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight could still happen. And we'll have more MMA news. For 2 long years, UFC tried their best to arrange a fight between Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones, but it never happened. Francis Ngannou then left the UFC, making himself and the fans believe that he is never going to fight for the UFC again. However, there's one person who still believes that this big fight between 2 of the greatest fighters could happen, and that person's name is Henry Cejudo. While talking about the fight on his YouTube channel, Cejudo said, "I don't believe that Francis' fight is off the table. I think Francis is going to get his big payday in boxing." Ngannou has been trying to get a boxing match against one of the big names in boxing. The 2 possible names that have come up are Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But these 2 happen to be the very best in the business, and Cejudo does not seem to think that Ngannou is going to be able to do well in a boxing match against one of these top talents. Cejudo said, "The chances of Francis being somebody in strictly striking with a striker who understands movement and all of that, unless it's MMA gloves, I can give him a shot. But if it's just boxing, I don't see Francis beating these guys. It's just 2 different sports." While talking about the possibility of Jones versus Ngannou, Cejudo said, "I think once Francis fights, he gets that exhibition or whatever fight he has out of the way, I think the UFC will want to make that fight happen. I really do. I think the UFC would want to make that fight between Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones. I think the UFC could still make this fight happen. Remember, this is all business." Islam Makhachev defeated Alexander Volkanovski in his first title defense, and now he is waiting for his next opponent, which is not confirmed yet because fights such as Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev and Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush have been added to the UFC schedule. He's expected to fight the winner of the fight between Charles and Beneil. Makhachev, in a recent interview with BT Sport, was the question as to whom he would like to fight, and he said, "I hope Beneil wins because I already beat Oliveira and I need some new challenges. Dariush is going to be a good fight because this guy has good skills, striking skills, wrestling skills, and grappling skills. That's why it's going to be a good fight. Oliveira, if he wants a rematch, if he shows a good performance, maybe he's going to be next. I don't know." These 2 were supposed to fight at UFC Vegas 49, but it was canceled as Dariush suffered an injury. Islam then went on to face Bobby Green, whom he defeated in the first round to get his first title opportunity. Whom would you want Makhachev to face next? We might know Khamzat Chimaev is a ruthless guy, and he definitely is ruthless when it comes to fighting, but there's another side of this man that we've never seen before. In Chechnya, which is his hometown, Chimaev took the time to speak on stage and meet some fans and orphan children in the area. Their 10-year-old girl stood up and asked one of the best current UFC fighters what his childhood dream was. After hearing this question from an innocent little girl, he went on to call her up on stage, and the 2 of them had a beautiful moment that has been going viral. The young fan was overwhelmed with emotion after thanking Chimaev for being a great role model for her and a lot of kids in his hometown. Chimaev himself got emotional, and as he exchanged some words with the beautiful little soul, he himself could not contain himself and got emotional with tears in his eyes. The little fan was then asked about this moment with the big man, and she said, "I started crying tears of joy after meeting him in person, and he got emotional too." As far as the man's UFC career is concerned, he had his last fight back in September of 2022. He was unable to drop his weight to 170, so the UFC made him fight in a 180-pound catchweight contest against Kevin Holland, whom he defeated with ease in the very first round. He was expected to make a comeback at UFC 285, but nothing was made final. It is now Chimaev and his team have also indicated on multiple occasions that the next move will likely be a return to the middleweight division. Petr Yan and MERAB DVALISHVILI are going to lock horns in a really important fight for the bantamweight division. This fight is really important for both of these guys because the winner could very much get a title shot. MERAB has made it clear that this is just not a simple fight for him. This is something personal. While speaking to the media, he said, "I have many reasons. First, this fight is not only a fight, it's personal to me because he is from Russia and I'm from Georgia." MERAB added that everyone knows Russia and what they're doing to Ukraine now, what they did to Georgia. Russia is not a democratic country. He added that he wants to win the fight against Petr Yan for his people. He has so much support from his country and so much support from Ukraine too. While talking about his opponent, DVALISHVILI said, "Peter is a great fighter and an MMA fighter, and he's tough. He's dangerous. He doesn't have holes anywhere. He's a good striker. He defends wrestling well, and his cardio is not bad either." MERAB said that this is going to be his toughest fight yet, and he has other reasons. MERAB said Peter is a good family guy, but not a humble guy. He's not a great human. It doesn't matter how good of a fighter he is, he has to be a good person. After the media day, Peter Yan and MERAB crossed paths, and the two can be seen shaking hands, but the awkwardness is evident in their body language. All this talk from MERAB has given this fight another shape. We're expecting to have a great fight between these two. Jon Jones is often considered the greatest MMA fighter by many, but TriStar MMA head coach Firas Zahabi does not seem to think so, and he has his reasons. He accepts the fact that Jones is a great fighter, but he still does not consider him the ultimate GOAT. Firas, on his own YouTube channel, said Jones beat Ciryl Gane easily, and if they restarted that fight, he would pick Jon. He went on to say that if Jones were to fight Ciryl Gane 10 times, Firas would side with Jones. He even added that even if Jones fought Ngannou, he's going to side with Jones. While mentioning Miocic Stipe, he said the same thing. However, he went on to add that he does not consider him the GOAT because he's failed many drug tests. He added that Jon Jones himself calls himself the GOAT, and he hates to say it, but Jones is not the GOAT because you can't fail drug tests and be the GOAT. Because if someone gets caught with a hormone, they should be banned for life. And after all, it is irreversible according to the University of Toronto, as they have studied on hormones and PEDs, and the effects are definitely irreversible. Now to the news that has caught the internet by storm. Following the Miami Heat versus Cleveland Cavaliers game on Wednesday, Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather had an altercation. In a video, it can be seen that Mayweather and his crew approach Jake Paul, who only has a security guard with him, and a man can be heard saying, "Are we gonna bust him up, guys?" And Jake Paul can then be seen running away from them, and a few guys give chase, but then they stop. And the man can again be heard saying, "Where are you running, Jake?" The person holding the camera shouts, "Look, he's running, Jake. Jake Paul running, champ. Why is he running?" The situation, however, was dismissed by the security, and Jake Paul later went on Instagram and posted a video where he can be heard saying that he was leaving the Miami Heat game and Floyd Mayweather and 50 dudes pull up out of nowhere, out of some side alley waiting for him outside of the stadium, and they started talking trash to him. Jake then asked Floyd, what did he say to him? He just took his hat, and apparently Floyd is still mad about it. Jake Paul then went on to add that 50 dudes then started surrounding him. He thought it'd be better to run out of there because he's not stupid enough to stand there and get beaten up by 50 guys. Back in 2021, when Jake's brother Logan Paul was to fight Mayweather, Jake snatched a baseball hat off Mayweather's head. Referring to that incident, Jake Paul said to Floyd on his social media account that he should get over that hat incident, adding that he's willing to face him one-on-one because everyone knows he's tough. And that's everything we have for today. Thanks for joining us on MMA Hub. Don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, and leave your comments down in the section below. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.